Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJ Trip coming at you with an interaction video. This one, it is Some Americans Are Ignorant and Proud, 135. What is socialism? I did one of these things before, and that was about the flat Earth, and then it drove me crazy. So, this one I'm not sure. This one, I'll be honest, I'm not even sure what socialism is. So maybe I'm ignorant as well. But these things are sometimes funny. So let's go ahead and let's check this out. I probably did another one too. The game show answer ones. So.
I detect a little communism. I can see it in the things you do. Communism, socialism, call it what you like. There's very little difference in the two. Now, ain't I right? Ain't I right?
The biggest difference between the two is that socialism says that all workers should get an equal share in profit and property, while communism says that there shouldn't be money or ownership in general, and everyone should get as much as they need and work as much as they can.
So my generation is fed up with capitalism. 44% of American millennials prefer to live in a socialist country. So they feel that it doesn't make sense that we live in a highly technological world with 3D printing and AI and automation, and still we live like modern day slaves.
What is your definition of a socialist?
The definition of socialism means that a government controls all factors of production.
Provides like health care or things like that. They're more for, I guess, business or like, yeah. Never heard of a socialist.
Like Bernie Sanders.
I don't know who Bernie.
You don't know who he is?
I actually don't know the definition of a socialist specifically. Someone who believes in group ownership of the resources to try to promote equality.
In theory, most people would agree with ideas like equality and mutual consideration and empathy and kindness, love even, why not? But in practice, it just doesn't happen, does it? In practice, we gravitate to the default state of our being, the default state of our primal survival instincts taking control, where self-benefit precedes everything else.
No four syllables shakes the 1% more to its core than socialism.
Socialism is government control. It's government saying, hey, we're going to buy the airline industry. Hey, we're going to purchase the healthcare industry.
Socialism can be a very dirty word, and Americans are afraid of it. That's why they're trying to sneak in the back door, say, we're not socialists, we believe these things. And they inflame people's emotions. They want to believe those things, but Democrats disagree with Republicans on the mechanism for growth. Democrats believe it's government. Republicans believe it's stimulating the free market.
A non-profit group called the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation and YouGov asked 23,000 Americans whether they would rather live in a capitalist or socialist country. And here's the results. 59% said they prefer capitalism, with 34% preferring a socialist nation, as you would perhaps expect. But of the millennials in the survey, the majority said they would prefer to be in either a socialist, communist, or even a fascist country.
In your opinion, is socialism a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, I think people kind of throw that word around to try to scare you, but if helping people is socialism, then I'm for it. There's a lot of things with social welfare that I think would be good to have.
How would you define socialism?
I mean, honestly, that definition gets thrown around a lot. I'm not exactly sure.
In the mid-1800s, Karl Marx began pushing an idea called communism, a near stateless society without class or capitalism, where the working people, aka the proletariat, controlled the means of production. But you can't just jump straight from capitalism to communism. From a corrupt state to no state, you need a bridge. That bridge is called socialism. Socialism comes in many different forms, but the majority of those all share a few common factors. First, they aim to take the means of production away from individuals and corporations and place them in the hands of a government representing workers. You build up the workers' utopia, then at some point the government becomes superfluous because everything is running so smoothly, then the government goes away and you have, hey, communism.
It's a kind of utopia, just the fact that the whole world will mix up with each other, that in, I don't know, 70, 80 years, there will be no white people anymore and only cappuccino-colored people.
Good. That's the only way. This is the only solution. This is my way of thinking. It's our only hope.
Communism is when all manufacturing or means of production are equally owned by all the members of a state. The intended result is to eliminate the capitalist-inspired class system where one class does all the work and the other gets all the money.
Robbins and Susan Sarandon.
Gravs with you, Dad.
My son is a communist.
The strongest criticism of the philosophy is that communism removes the incentive for people to work harder than they absolutely have to. It also leads to resentment of those who work less hard but receive the same.
You're a socialist or you're a capitalist, you're a communist or you're an anarchist. You have to pick a side, pick a political candidate, pick a political agenda.
Can you explain your sign to me a little?
It's essentially, we will win. It's with the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and there's a picture of Che Guevara, the Cuban revolutionary, on it. It's basically like, we can do it, we can win, we've won before, and we can do it again.
Makes me tend to think communism is an answer.
I absolutely believe that socialism is the way to go.
My name is Marek Brzezichowski, and I came 52 years ago from Poland. I know what communism is all about. I think most of the Americans got stupid, okay? And shut up, okay? You guys are too easy. You already forgot, okay, what communism is all about.
I think socialism is good too. It helps the poor a little bit, but I think it also helps the people who are wealthy.
Communist.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Why?
I have no reason why.
You don't know why?
I got myself into something I got to get myself out of. I'm walking away.
You don't know why it should be communist?
What the president should do is reach out to the working class, stop bailing out the banks, restructure the financial industry.
How restructure it? How would he restructure it?
Break up the banking monopolies and distribute them, reorganize them so there are far fewer of them, and they are much less centralized, and they are much more answerable to the communities in which they are stationed.
It's only capitalism's the only way to go. It's been proven in China, it's been proven, and although they're socialists, they started capitalism. 30 years ago, China was a backwards hillbilly country. They didn't have nothing. Now they got one of the strongest economies in the world in 30 years, all because of capitalism. They wouldn't have that 30 years ago.
Do you know that the Federal Reserve is actually a plank of the Communist Manifesto, a central bank?
As a communist, I know that that's not true.
One of the planks of Marx's Communist Manifesto was a central bank, which is what the Federal Reserve is.
It's not. This is not communism. It's capitalism.
That's not what the Federal Reserve is.
It's spreading their money around, and you know all these statistics.
The Communist Manifesto, or is it the Democratic Party platform? Disparities in wealth cannot be solved by the free market. Communist Manifesto or Democratic Party platform?
Communist Manifesto.
Ooh, Democratic platform.
That's the Communist.
Democratic Party platform.
I'm going to stick with the Communist Manifesto.
In recognizing a communist, physical appearance counts for nothing. She may be a communist. He may be a communist. She may be a communist. He must be a communist. But there are other communists who don't show their real faces, who work more silently.
We're just getting signatures to get Karl Marx on the Democratic ballot, to get him in the office next. So we're just going to get Karl in the White House so he can continue the communist agenda. But we still need the signatures to get him on the ballot and just get more communists in the White House. Signature there to support Karl Marx for president. Thanks for supporting Karl Marx for president.
If he decides to lead on and try to pick better decisions, I feel he would.
Continue with the Marxist economic policies to lead us to the utopia that we've all really hoped for.
Yeah.
Wake up and don't be the ignorance, be the change in the world. Listen to Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. You want to make this world a better place? Take a look at yourself and make a change.
Karl Marx could rise from Treasury Secretary to President to continue his economic policies.
That would be awesome to see him rise, because he's doing a good job so far, and I can only imagine.
Yeah, his economic policies as a president, Karl Marx could maybe fix America, right?
That would be pretty awesome. It's right around the corner, so I don't see why not. We just need the right guy, and Karl Marx seems to be the best candidate so far.
Who in the hell is Karl Marx? Karl Marx ring a bell at all? If you doesn't ring a bell.
No.
Okay. I'll have to Google who Karl Marx is.
Young Americans
don't realize that socialism/communism is government ownership of the means of production. I just think a lot of young Americans don't take history, they don't read, they believe this nonsense that flows across their Twitter feeds and Facebook pages, and this is what happens.
And you are happy with what was happening in the USSR between 1917...
Critique of it, that's what we're Maoists. We make a critique of it in order to improve socialism. The next time it comes around and throws people like your ass into a labor camp.
Arresting me for what? I'm not allowed to stand up for myself? I thought this was America. What? Isn't this America? I'm sorry, I thought this was America. What, is this a communist country or something?
Socialism is terrific. Communism is even better until you have a job and you need to start saving money. Capitalism is not perfect, but believe me, communism does not work. As Felix Dzerzhinsky, the head of the Cheka in 1917, 100 years ago, he said the following: it should be frankly admitted that we stand for terror.
Okay.
And what he was talking about was the Communist Party and the Socialists.
I detect a little communism. I can see it in the things you do. Communism, socialism, call it what you like. There's very little difference in the two. Now, ain't I right?
Well, listen, like I said before the video, I'm very ignorant when it comes to these things too. I'm not, I know what capitalism is, you know, the stuff. Basically, the most part of it is what we live in right now. I wouldn't know if socialism or communism or if it's the same or not. I don't know what's real or, you know, I just know Karl Marx. I know who Karl Marx is. He's dead. He ain't running for president. I know that. And there people up there trying to figure out signing a petition to get him on the ballot. So, Lord have mercy. Anyway, that was interesting as always. So, put your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy AJ Trip signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.